All right, folks, giddy up. Here we are. My name is JP.
And I'm AC.
This is Cardinal Pairadice. Let's get right into it again this week. U of L beat Murray State 66-21. I guess we kind of expected that, AC. Wasn't much of a surprise there. I did notice the stat that U of L now leads the nation in time of possession. It's early in the season. Still think that's kind of an interesting stat.
And JP, I would have never expected a Bobby Petrino team to possess the ball as much as we had.
That's right. They just had a lot of them, and we score quick, which is what AC's alluding to. But yeah, right now we do lead the nation in time of possession, which is good. So we had a whole lot of players see the field. Got a lot of meaningful time, which will add depth down the road for us.
That'll make for a happy practice this week too.
It sure will. Yeah, Bobby loves to see a lot of his players see the field and get playing time. So it was 47 at halftime. That really was over. It was over by half. I think it was over by the middle of the first quarter, but give or take a few minutes. Yeah, that's right. And Murray only had 41 total yards rushing. There were 4 of 12 on third down conversions. Defense had 1 interception. So it was kind of a dominating performance. On the offensive side for us, we had 12 different receivers catch balls, which is great.
Yep.
Kai De La Cruz, 4 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown, which is awesome for Kai. We had 5 running backs carry the ball.
Yep.
L.J. Scott, big time, 11 rushes, 126 yards, so killer job by him. U of L scored on 9 straight possessions, 603 yards of total offense. There's not much more you can say about it. It's a great performance.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to move on. We're going to get into our general team update. Again, it seems like everybody came out healthy.
I don't see anybody on the injury report. So
yeah, me neither, which is great news. My only question is, will Michael Dyer play this week? I thought he might. AC didn't think that he would, and you were right again. So,
well, I just don't. He's not been in the papers or anything on him this week. So I guess. If it's not a story, he might play.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, he'll be rested up for Virginia. Let's put it that way. If he does play. Next is one of my favorite segments. We're getting into the Dice Player of the Week, which is where AC and I each pick an offensive player and a defensive player that we think starred this previous week. My offensive Dice Player of the Week is going to go to Reggie Bonifant. Reggie came in, had 3 touchdowns. He had 1 passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. He was 8 of 11 for 112 yards. He looked really sharp, AC. I think they might have a hard time keeping him off the field, but you know what? It's good that he's a capable backup.
And it's good that Bobby's not falling in the trap of having a quarterback controversy. Mm-hmm. Bobby has said, hey, Will's going to be my starter, as said, and I think it was good that Reggie came in and he threw some pretty balls. He threw some sharp, crisp balls. He was behind his passes, and he looked good.
The touchdown to Michael E. Harris was particularly impressive, and I like that Bobby also said there's no quarterback controversy. Will Gardner's a quarterback. I like that. I think there only needs to be one quarterback. My defensive Dice Player of the Week is going to be James Burgess. He had 4 tackles. A couple of them were assisted tackles, but he was flying around. That guy's fast. All of our linebackers are fast, but I like the way James played this week. Yep. AC, what about you? Who's your offensive and defensive Dice Players of the Week?
Well, I'm going to go with L.J. Scott. I mean, he looked pretty good out there on the field. Dominique did his thing. He always does. L.J. added an extra spark to the offense. And the long run he had, I thought he was going to take it the distance, but he needs to work on those leg muscles a little bit more. So, I think if it was Radcliffe looks like a speedy young cat. So, if he would have been on that, I think that would have been 6 in the end zone. So, my defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with Todd Grantham. I'm going to go defensive coordinator.
Defensive coordinator, all right.
I mean, 2 weeks in a row, he's shown up. Defense looked pretty solid. We didn't give up too many big plays, and I think Todd needs to be on his game this week. If we can do some of the things we did against Miami and Murray State with Virginia on the road, I think we'll be all right.
Okay, yeah, Todd's done a good job so far. Yep. So it's no limits. We can go with whoever we want. This has got to be AC's favorite segment of the show. This is where AC is going to get into a little bit of wide receiver talk. So, AC, take it away, my man. It's your time.
Well, we got Kyle De La Cruz, we got Michael Lee Harris, and Gerald Christian. Those were our touchdown leaders this week. Each one had one touchdown. I think, we spread the ball around a lot. And I think all the other receivers, we got a good rotation going, and we got a lot of talented receivers. I love to see that. Mm-hmm. I would like to throw the ball a little bit more, Bobby, but I'm not playing. So we will continue. We'll get back deep when we get Spider-Man back. We'll get deep with Devontae when he comes back. But overall, receivers did a great job. I'm on a quick watch. I like to see James Quick get his first receiving touchdown. Mm-hmm. So, it's a little personal. Going back in the day, playing with his dad. So, James, I'm rooting for you, buddy, and I'm ready for that first touchdown. So,
well, it's coming sooner or later. We all know that. Yeah. So, and we did talk about the fact that Bobby likes to spread the ball around, and I'm not really sure who you scout, because we had 12 receivers this week, and it just makes it tough on defenses, but that's how we like it. We're going to jump in next to moving on to our other games around the country, which means we're going to do another one of our favorite segments. That's the crapped out team of the week. There's a 7 right there, folks. The crapped out team of the week. This one is really obvious to me. It's going to be the Texas Longhorns. You guys, wow. Terrible. They lost 41-7. They lost to BYU at home. They were 3 of 15 on third downs. They lost 3 fumbles. They had an interception. They were just bad. So, no doubt about it, the Texas Longhorns, you crapped out this week as far as I'm concerned. AC?
Horns, you got hooked.
Oh.
And it's really not about Charlie Strong. No. If Charlie wasn't there this week, it would have been the same thing. But they just did not play inspired ball. Offense was non-existent, so you crapped out.
Yeah, well, they got blown out last year by BYU as well, so just nothing really changed there. So it was ugly. All right, we're going to jump on into our Paradise picks for the week, which is where AC and I will take 2 games against the spread. Last week, AC was 2-0. I was 1-1. For some stupid reason, although it was against the spread, I took Michigan State and the Ducks, and I love the Ducks, but I took Michigan State.
Michigan State gave a good effort, though.
They did, and they were ahead in the third quarter, and then the Ducks scored 21 points in 5 minutes, and it was over. So, anyway, ended up winning by like 19. It was terrible. But, all right, so our first game, really good game. Not too many good games on the docket again this week. Georgia, South Carolina. Georgia's favored by 5. I think South Carolina has to have this game, and I'm going to go with South Carolina at home getting 5 points.
I don't think with Mr. Gurley, the grown man, playing for Georgia, I think he puts Georgia up by 3 touchdowns.
Oh.
I don't think South Carolina is ready just yet.
Okay.
Maybe towards the end of the season they peak or whatever they do. But Georgia's going to beat them by at least 3 touchdowns.
All right,
at South Carolina.
All right, well, folks, you remember he pegged the score of the Miami-Louisville game, so I'm going to pay attention. ECU, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's ranked number 17 this week, got a huge win at the Horseshoe last week against Ohio State. However,
go ACC.
That's right. I think we were 11-0 last week, by the way. This is a bounce game. And I know Virginia Tech's at home, but they had a big win at the Horseshoe. They may still be excited about that win. They may not be prepared for ECU. They're the Pirates. They're coming. They're going to steal one from them, AC. I don't know if they'll win the game, but 10.5 points is too many. I like ECU to cover.
You're right. It is a bounce game. Virginia Tech's going to bounce ECU back to the other side of the country. So, I beat Virginia Tech big.
All right. Well, he didn't like East Carolina. He likes Virginia Tech, so that's good. All right, let's get on into this week's game versus Virginia. Charlottesville, beautiful campus. Virginia's a great school. There's not much history there, AC. We played them in the 80s, and we're 1-1. We split those games. Mm-hmm. I do like Mike London. I think Mike's a great coach. Yeah. I know he's on the hot seat right now. I don't think they won a game in the ACC last year, which is probably a good reason for him to be on the hot seat. But, I did look up and do a little research. They played either 10 or 11 teams that were actually in bowl games last year. So it's not like they're playing nobodies. So they had a good schedule there. They played a really good schedule. Their D is very good. John Tenuta's in there, great defensive coordinator. He runs a 4-3. They like to try to get you to turn the ball over, and they do turn teams over quite easily and quite often. So, and they also like to utilize their backs out of the backfield to catch balls. So we better be aware of that. But with all that said, defensively, I think Virginia's good, but I don't know about their offense, and I like Bobby's offense against any team's defense. So I think U of L wins the game, pulls away. I'll get to my score in a minute. What do you want to add there?
Well, I just believe that Virginia, they need to put some things together. I don't think they're there yet, but they gave a great effort playing UCLA earlier.
They did. UCLA was like a top 5 team or something earlier in the year. So okay, so UCLA's getting a lot of respect, and Virginia took them to the wire. Yeah. So I'm going to pick U of L to win 27-10. I don't think we're going to get that many points this week on their D. We could. I still think Louisville covers, but I like 27-10.
I'm gonna go with Louisville 41 and Virginia 17.
All right, 41-17.
41-17. That's
17-10. A couple more things. We got some questions here. We want to jump into these questions real quick. John Walshield of J-Town, Kentucky wants to know if AC will sign his 1990 football. Evidently, Schnelly and some others have signed that football. AC?
Yeah, John sent the ball in, and he's got some pretty good signatures on here.
And it looks like a 1990s football, so
it is.
I believe him.
He's got Howard's, the whole coaching staff from the Fiesta Bowl. So, John, I'll sign this. And get it back to you pronto.
We're nice people here on Cardinal Pairadice, folks. So, next question. Thank you, AC, for doing that. Greg Kinney from Fern Creek, Kentucky. Greg asks, if Bonifant and Gardner appear to be equal talents, do you feel 2 quarterbacks sharing the load or the role could maintain rhythm and be as successful as a primary quarterback? Greg, I don't think so. I like to stick with 1 quarterback. I have no problems playing 2 quarterbacks during the game, especially when it's a blowout, because they get good game experience. But I think you need to stick with 1 quarterback and let him play, keep his confidence, don't rattle him at all. So, no, I think you need to stay with 1 quarterback. I like Will Gardner. Reggie looked good, but, get him in there, get him some playing time, and get him ready for down the road, who knows. Or in case Will gets injured, but I like to stick with 1 quarterback. What do you think?
I'm with you, Jay. I think Bobby has shown some moxie stand behind Will Gardner and letting him know that, hey, you're the guy. And he's going to grow as a quarterback. He's got some things that he needs to work on, and they all do. So, but I think it was good that Bobby is staying right behind Will. So I'm going to go 1 quarterback.
And Tina Gahn, our last question. She's got she got a shout out last week from AC, and now she says, do you think they will ever wear red uniforms again? From a girl that knows football, Tina, yes, I do think they will wear the red uniforms again. Evidently, they have a lot of color combinations they're going to be wearing this year. I don't know, red on red, I would say we'll probably see that at some point during the season, but surely red, white, black, red. I don't know. We'll see a bunch of different combinations.
If we won't wear red at home again this year, so you might see it in the bowl game, Tina, but you won't see it at home this year.
All right. Well, folks, that about wraps up this show for this week. I'm JP.
And I'm AC.
This is Cardinal Pairadice, and that's how we roll.